gonna be teaching you on how to better present a workflow to elevate your presentation skills. Hang in there, we'll be back in just a second. I've had so many students come to me asking help on how to present a workflow. It seems very straightforward, but when they have to say something in public, in English, they feel like they are not doing a great job. And I've noticed that most of the times they forget to use passive voice and sequencing words. So just by changing these two aspects, they've been able to deliver much better presentations. Of course, you can always improve, but those are the kickstart for any workflow presentation. If you don't understand or are not very familiar with passive voice, please check our playlist. There is a video just on passive voice with a quiz that will help you get acquainted and more familiar with that. Very commonly, my students make mistakes by presenting a workflow using active voice. For example, we start with the client's request and they send the contract next. Now, the passive voice would say the process starts with a request being submitted by the client. Now, that sounds much better, and that's just passive voice. Another example, you must make the payment before delivery, or the passive voice form, the payment must be made before delivery. So you can see that by just changing this structure, your presentation already gets better. In order to elevate your English in presenting workflows, there are two key useful tools in English you're gonna need: passive voice and sequencing word. Sequencing words, I can give you a list, but you are gonna be able to understand the sequence by using first, second, next, then, after that, finally. You can also use what we call in English connectors. So a few examples for you: once, when, before, and after. They also help you connect one part of the process with another. So in the process, we often don't focus on who does something, but rather what is done. The request is received. Not that we receive the request or HR receives the request. So the request is received, the contract is signed, the product is delivered. So, and more often than not in workflows, you're gonna use the simple present, which is much easier in transforming active into passive voice. Let's say you are explaining our order fulfillment process, just for the sake of this exercise. So first, the order is placed by the client. Next, a confirmation email is sent automatically. After that, the payment is processed. Then the item is packed and shipped. And finally, the delivery is confirmed. How does that sound to you? Doesn't it sound more professional and more straightforward? And when you do that, you consequently build your confidence when presenting. So there you go, a very simple process where you use sequencing words, connectors, and passive voice in the simple present, which makes it simpler. To recap, what do you need for workflow? Passive voice. Check our playlist for the video to help you there. Sequencing words, first, next, then, finally. Connectors, once, when, before, that. And that's all you need to elevate your English. So now that you know it, just use it. If you like this content, please click that button, leave your comments, and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.